Hey, that was the right
That
video
was
this time.
that was.
and
With all,
and all and also, I'm glad to know that the original Sasquatchers ska tune is still louder than every other song.
yes, absolutely. I hope we didn't blow our guests' eardrums out tonight. But you know, we've done a plethora of shows in 2 years, and we have never spoken to a an actor of this caliber. So I'm really excited to jump into it. Um, I'm going to just go ahead and let him introduce himself, give himself a little bit of a background, and from there, there's a lot of stuff that we can get into, and I'm looking forward to it. But Jonathan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, so I guess I could just start back in 1990 is when I started everything. I started going to school, took some film school for several years, and I'd probably say in the year 2000 I started my own video production company and did that for about 12 years. And then I decided I wasn't happy doing what I was doing because I was making promotional videos for companies and stuff. And I was creating for other people, and I wanted to create for myself. So I went and shut down that business and decided to become a narrative filmmaker. So, which is what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be an actor since I was a child, but in order to be in stuff, I made my own stuff. So that's pretty much how it all started. And what put me on the map was I did a web series back in 2013, and it was called Still, and went like gangbusters for a while, and it did about 6 episodes. And then I started doing some other feature films and everything, and I guess we can talk about that.
Kind of get into all of it. I in the early 90s because a lot of people that I looked up to as filmmakers growing up kind of came from that era, and they all kind of crap on it. Like Kevin Smith is like, if you want to make a movie, just get a credit card and make a movie. Rodriguez is another one of those guys that came up in that era who's like, if you just want to make movies, make movies.
Yeah.
Tarantino, I know, is also like, so a lot of like the powerhouses that I grew up watching kind of all almost kind of vaguely tell you to avoid that step. So like, what was that like?
Well, I guess it would. Yeah, I did. I definitely. They were definitely inspiring for me. When I was, I'd watch all their stuff while I went to college and went to film school. And basically, what made me want to be a filmmaker when I watched Blue Velvet from David Lynch, and I connected with that film so much. I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I watched it on HBO. And that's when I thought, I can do this, and I really connected with it, and that's what made me want to start making film. And so I moved back to well, make a long story short, I was back and forth. I'm from Texas, and I lived in Santa Fe for a year. Then I went back to Texas, and nothing was really happening for me down there, and to get into film and everything. So I decided to come up to Seattle. A lot of personal stuff, to get to know my family up in Seattle, and then that's when I called my father. I told him, I said, "Hey, I want to come up and visit," and he goes, "Why don't you come up here and live up here? We have a college fund for you." And so I went to Everett Community College when I moved up here in Washington, and that's when I first started getting into film school.
Where did you? What school did you attend?
It was Everett Community College. It was just basically video production and
Okay.
in studio. studio production and stuff. And I basically just learned all the technical aspects of you know, getting into film and video and stuff like that. And I have an imagination, and so, you know, I did a lot of writing and stuff, and that's basically how it all started. And just doing a bunch of just little home video stuff and everything, you know, with friends and everything, and making, you know, dumb little films and everything. And then after I didn't graduate, but I did all the fun stuff, and you know, learning all the technical aspects of film. And then I decided to go and start my business in 2000, and I learned a lot. But it was making and I would do these small independent films on Super VHS, and I got my first editing system in the year 2000, and that's when I started making just you know, short films, and I did a couple of features that are lost. I did those on, it was basically experimental films. So
Okay. I love like low budget, independently produced, shot on video stuff. I think that is like one of the most underrated genres, and it's cool that it's kind of a genre that's getting its flowers now, so to speak, with a lot of the boutique labels that are putting that kind of stuff out. And so it's cool that you were playing around with those and experimenting, because I like them, and I just always am able to mesh with people that do that stuff. We shot with now we're this, you know, late teens. We had mini TV editing easily on a computer and stuff. We didn't have to do any of the other rig systems that you would need for VHS and stuff. But that's unfortunate that those are kind of lost, because like I think regardless of, fun to go back and kind of look at those.
yeah,
All of their old Super 8 films in that thing. And that's another, like, it's just, whether it's like Super 8 or like the shot on video VHS or whatever, it's just always cool to see the beginnings of a creative person's like muses, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, I went in the mid '90s. I went to the University of Washington and took a film extension program, and that's right when nonlinear editing was getting into the game, and so we shot with 16 millimeter film. So I was one of the last people that did I think it was that year when they stopped, when they started doing more you know, digital video and stuff. But we shot in a 16 millimeter and we transferred it to digital, and then that's how I learned how to edit on the I think it was called Media 100, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know, it's awesome. It seems, I guess, from a technical standpoint, since we're like on this side of things, it's always confusing for me. Like I think like that kind of editing, like I have mad respect for people that are able to do it and came up in it, because it would be hard for me to, I think, troubleshoot that. And now that we have all of just everything's digital, and that's, I love to shoot, like I said, I love shot on video stuff, so that when we do stuff, I do my best to kind of continue to do that and recreate that. And I've been thinking about trying to get some of that older equipment, but it's just so much of a hassle on the editing side to like learn on the fly at this point. So I don't really do it, but yeah, no, I love that. I love, so you said that it was Blue Velvet that made you want to do movies, but you had wanted to be an actor since you were a kid. So what as a child, you know, gave you that bug?
It was you know, I just had a real imagination. It was something I've always wanted to do. It was this kind of, it was my calling. And, but I just didn't know how to get into it. I didn't know, this is, back in the 70s when I'd watch $6 Million Man, and always wanted to be Lee Majors, and do what he
Yeah.
did. And, it just, I took a couple little acting classes, or I'd be in a play or something like that, and I really dug it. But I didn't really start getting into everything until I graduated high school, and I knew what I wanted to do, and so I had to, I don't know where I'm going with this. But it was just there wasn't a lot forming in Texas. I just didn't know how to do anything or whatever, and so that's why I came up to Washington to go to film school, and so that's how I learned how to do what I wanted to do. But when it was really hard to get into acting too back in the day, because it's so much easier now. Because everybody can do it, because with the digital aspect now and everything.
Right.
It's back then, back in the 80s, it was just like, you had to go to Hollywood to try to become an actor or be a filmmaker or whatever, but you don't have to do that anymore.
No, and that's one of the really cool things to kind of be adjacent to that world now. Just like who we talk to and who we work with. It's like across the board, you got like some talented person over here in New Jersey, and then over here you got somebody from
Right.
Ohio that's doing like cool stuff. And obviously like every state seems to have like a hot spot where there's some people that are just kind of churning stuff out that definitely didn't exist. I can only imagine though, were you like, when you were trying to get roles, did you kind of find yourself facing typecasting, considering you're a giant? Like you're like almost 7 foot tall, right?
Well, yeah, actually, it's funny. When I was 18, when I lived in Santa Fe, they were shooting Twins. And they were shooting. I have a story here. They were also shooting Young Guns.
Yeah, I love Young Guns.
I worked in a grocery store, and my manager, I remember his name, Glenn. He had a buddy of his come in, and I was listening to them having a conversation while I was mopping the floors. And he goes, "Hey, it was an old friend of his that came to visit," and they went to high school together, I guess. And he goes, "Hey, I guess you're in Hollywood now, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, we're shooting a film called Young Guns, with Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen and all those guys." And so anyway, I kind of butted into the conversation, and I asked him. I said, "How did you? What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I'm the double for Charlie Sheen." And so whenever you see me you'll see me, you'll see Charlie Sheen riding off in the distance on a horse and stuff, and that's me. And I was like, "Wow, how can I get into this?" And he goes, "Well, they're looking for cast members right now. They're actually looking for some a couple of main actors, still for the film." And they were doing casting over at the Hilton over in downtown Santa Fe. And so he gave me the phone number to the casting agent and stuff. And so I made an appointment to go in and do a read or whatever. I was, believe it or not, I'm 6'7" now, but I was really small and super skinny, and I couldn't grow a beard or anything. So I wasn't very rugged looking. And they literally, and this is Hollywood back then, they, they're really nice to you, and when you go in to talk to a casting agent. But back then, they literally laughed when I walked in through the door.
Oh man.
And they said, sorry, son, you just don't have it. You don't have the look or whatever. And they didn't even let me audition. And I said, well, do you need any extras or anything? And they says, no, evidently I was too tall to be an extra because they had to fit me, fit me in stuff and everything, if I was an extra, to be like a soldier or something like that. So, yeah, so that kind of burst my bubble. So,
yeah, you can't have Amelia and Charlie Sheen looking like midgets next to
yeah,
the guy in the background. I could.
Yeah, I was just sort of like a tall, lanky kid, and I just didn't have the look that they were looking for, So,
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I feel like, man, you could have easily have been Jason Voorhees. Like all of those big dudes, man, they all were very.
Yeah. I'm a lot bigger than I was back then. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. On a side note, it's not really like film related, but I've seen you post many times about kind of like the transformation that you've made with your health and body.
Yeah.
Is that anything like that you could talk about? Because
Yeah.
I've kind of been in a very similar situation myself with that. I was definitely getting up there in weight, and I kind of got that same like, dude, you're gonna be diabetic if this doesn't stop. And so like, 6 months go by or whatever, I dropped like 60, 70 pounds. But I'm like a yo-yo guy, so I don't know if it's I haven't quite conquered that mentally. So like I'll get like super fit and I'm like addicted to results, and then for me, once something breaks me, then I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm fat again. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of I'm in my third or fourth fat stage right now where I'm like, man, I got to get back on that treadmill. But yeah, I think like not just because it's something that I'm adjacent to, but like it's like an inspiring thing in my opinion. So like, if you're comfortable discussing.
Oh, sure. Well, I've always been pretty thin, and then when I got older, I started gaining some weight and everything, and well, I was pretty fit in my 30s, and then I probably, gosh, how long ago was it? Well, it was just having my business that I had too, and I had put myself in a lot of debt because of the recession and everything, and I had an ego, and I didn't want to lose my business, and I put myself in a lot of debt by living on credit cards, and so the stress kind of is it is working 24/7 trying to catch up with my business and everything. It caused a lot of stress and a lot of I did a lot of sitting. Because I was doing a lot of editing and stuff like that, and then I had hurt myself where I fell down the stairs and I ruptured my patellar tendon, and so that's when the weight really started. That's when I started gaining all the weight. It was a post-surgery weight, and my marriage wasn't doing so well and everything, so it was just a lot of stress, and so I just gained more and more and more weight, and I lost. It was probably about 6-7 years ago. I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2, and I decided I need to change my lifestyle. So it's a total mindset, and I just laid off the sugar and just started exercising and everything, and I got to where I am now. So
yeah, and you're like super fit and jacked now. Like so I saw
it's good, it's good lighting too.
yeah. I'll allow that, but at the same time, I've seen the pictures too, and I watched the BTS video that you sent me of your casting in. I believe it's called Defender.
Oh yeah. We did. Yeah, it was like that was like 2.5 weeks ago. That was when we were out there. They flew me out to Virginia, and that's where we shot the film. So
Is that a is that like an actual feature, or is it going to be a
No,
short? I didn't see.
it's probably going to be like a 45 minute short film, and it's basically about these barbarians. They come and invade this island, and uh, uh, Curtis McCann, he's a friend of mine, an actor friend of mine from Washington as well. They flew him over. It was just a coincidence that we both got parts of this in this film, and he plays Henrik, which is the lead hero, and he's trying to protect his farm from these barbarians. And so we're breaching the farm and trying to kill his children and his wife and everything. And he has some certain skills that we weren't expecting. So
That's cool. And I know
yeah,
I saw that in that video you had responded to your casting, and you were talking about, not just your excitement, but the fact that you like to play bad guys. And so
yeah.
I was curious, based on that, um, you were in like a one percenter jacket, like a cut, like a biker thing, and I think that you were on the set of a Friday the 13th fan film at the time.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
that's the I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the Horrorverse, and they've got a huge following on YouTube, and they do a lot of Michael Myers fan film stuff, Jason Voorhees and everything. But anyway, this the film that I was in. This is a feature too. This is the third installment, so it's a trilogy. And they brought me on the third installment, and I got to work with Robert Lasardo, and he and I worked opposite of each other. And basically, he's the head of the motorcycle gang, and he gets killed. But he kind of comes back to life, whatever, with the weird rapture thing that's happening in this film. But I play his first lieutenant, I guess, that becomes the head of the motorcycle club, since he died. So. And I end up being one of the heroes in it. So,
oh, cool.
anti-hero, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Do you have a villainous role that you like more than any other that you have done?
I really liked. I think Defender was my big main antagonist role, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I manifested that too. Yeah, during the audition. I really wanted this part, and I got it. So
Yeah, that's I'm sure a way better feeling when you're talking about manifesting.
yeah, yeah. There was another
Yeah.
film too that I'm really looking forward to coming out. It's called Firebug, and I play this in the closet father who hates his life. I hate my son. I hate my wife, and my used car salesman. And that's probably going to be one of my best performances. And I'm just waiting for that to come out. They're in post production right now. We shot it last year actually, and but they're finally getting to finishing it up. So that's going to come out soon.
Yeah, that sounds real cool. Actually, it's
It's a really good, yeah. It's a really dark, well written film, and it's basically my son is a pyromaniac. I guess that's where they get Firebug from. And my wife, she's an invalid, and she has emphysema, and anyway, I don't really want to spoil it, but she and her son have a certain relationship that I'm kind of aware of.
okay.
Yeah. Of course, I'm in the closet, so I don't really care about the family. I want to, there's a scene where I'm hitting on another guy in the used car lot, and who's another friend of mine here well, he's in California now, but his name's Derek, and but anyway, yeah. So he, the character is just really dark and he's very confused and very upset. And I think I sent you guys a couple of the clips.
But yeah, again, I'll like any gift.
It sounds like we're losing Drew, but any of the clips in that we'll keep linked in the video, in the description, and that to make sure that everybody can see them. You back, Drew? Did we get you back? No.
Looks like he froze.
Yeah. He's got that good internet out there.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. There you go.
I have an Ethernet, cord. I'm connected straight to all the source of the internet. So I don't. Again, this has to be the platform that's the problem. But yeah, JC finished my sentences for me about. We have all those clips there for anybody listening that can go check it out. But I think like that was, it's like, I don't know, maybe acting maybe against type for you, perhaps based on the description for it. So I can imagine that it's like super fun to do that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The film, like from your description, it sounded like you might be kind of acting against your usual type, where it seems more like maybe in-depth character driven.
Yeah,
versus,
it's pretty character driven. Yeah.
So that I'm sure will be worth checking out. But I was also perusing your IMDb page, and I would be remiss, since we have featured lots of Bigfoot content, if we didn't ask about Feet of Death.
Oh yeah,
Appears to be
It appears to be a movie where Sasquatch kills people.
That's a win for me.
Yeah, well, actually, it's got a pretty good twist at the end too. So they brought me on as a, I know I'm 6'7", and I was actually taller than the guy who played the Sasquatch. And so I wasn't in the same scenes with the Sasquatch, obviously, but they wanted to brought me on to be the red herring, I guess. Just like what it is people they think there's a serial killer on the loose in the woods, but it starts to go towards maybe there is a Sasquatch that's doing this. And but they were also brought me on for everybody to be suspicious, like, oh, maybe it's the deputy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool, and that's reminiscent of I saw a documentary, I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 years ago at this point. It's called Bigfoot. It's on Hulu, if anybody's interested in checking it out. But like, it's about this Bigfoot stuff that's going on up in like out where you lived for a bit, out kind of like in the Seattle area, like North Washington, and like the first episode is like just fully looking into Bigfoot stuff, but then you find out as you go throughout the like 4 or 5 episodes that there's like a drug trade that was kind of happening, where this was like, this area was where people were running drugs like up through America into Canada or whatever. And so the people behind this came up with this Bigfoot myth that would scare people away from the area so that they could have kind of free reign and not have anybody like come in and mess with their stuff. And so I don't know, like the way that you describe that kind of briefly, like, is like Bigfoot versus like a true crime thing happening at the same time. It's not something that I've seen.
Yeah, if you watch it, you'll there's probably a connection there. Yeah.
But yeah, like outside of that documentary, I'd not seen anything like that. So certainly any of the Sasquatch movies, and I do watch as many as I can.
Yeah.
That's kind of unique. I haven't seen that plot yet. I'm gonna for sure seek that out. But I'm curious. When did you start writing? Like what?
Oh gosh, I wrote. Well, it's back to my high school days. I well, I wrote since I was a child. But I did this. I think what really validated me wanting to write was I was a senior in high school. It was right before I graduated, and we had an assignment in English class that that everybody had to make a Christmas story. Yeah, everybody had to write. It was like a creative writing type of assignment. And so everybody in the class, wrote their own stories and stuff, with Christmas. And mine was a little bit dark, and it was called The Last Christmas. And it's basically it's basically about this guy who lives by himself, and he's a bus driver, and he's lonely. He doesn't have a wife or a child or anything like that, and he's listening to the radio, and they're talking about this Christmas cat burglar that comes in and steals presents from under the tree and stuff. And so anyway, I guess he gets himself a little spooked, when he's listening to the story and stuff. Anyway, he goes to bed, and then he hears somebody breaking into his house. And so, make a long story short, he takes a baseball bat, and he sees the guy. The guy's dressed like Santa Claus too. The cat burglar dresses like Santa Claus. But anyway, he's he's underneath the tree and everything. And anyway, he takes the baseball bat to this guy, to the guy who's under the tree. And it ends up being that he ends up killing Santa Claus. And my teacher loved it, and she wrote this long one-page letter saying how creative it was and everything, and she had me read it in front of the class, and it was super violent and very strict. Yeah, and she loved it. She thought it was great. And I just kind of I feel like I kind of broke the rules a little bit, but I won, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that's what really made me want to start writing. So
that's sweet. Christmas horror is one of my favorite genres. I do a Christmas horror
Christmas
watch. Yeah. I start on Thanksgiving, and then I'll watch like the Thanksgiving theme stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he does a holiday watch where he watches all the Thanksgiving horror movies and then watches the Christmas horror movies.
Oh, there
Maybe
you go.
a Hanukkah horror movie thrown in there somewhere.
And then I end it with New Year's Evil. So like that whole month, like I do, like everybody else has like their 31 days with October, and that's like I take that month off, and I like create and craft this list every year so that it's not the same movies every year. But yeah, dude, Christmas horror, I love it. So that resonates with me. I think do you remember like the first screenplay that you wrote?
The first screenplay, yeah, it was Customer 152, and actually that's the film that I in the year. See, was it? Oh no, actually, the first screenplay. It was. See, I did it. Gosh, I'm forgetting about all the stuff that I did. In 2000, I did a feature film called Missing Chelsea, and I shot that on Super VHS. I've lost it. I don't know what happened to it. It was on a master copy that just disappeared. But that was my first big screenplay that I did. No, I'm sorry, 1996. I did a film called The Temporaries. That was my first screenplay I wrote and directed and produced. And then I did Missing Chelsea, and both of those are lost. But if you go to my website, Chronicle Factory, you can see the trailer for The Temporaries, and I played the devil in that one.
I imagine that's pretty cool. It's a cool
Yeah.
role to play. Yeah, we have that up there, don't we, for people to check out? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was perusing the site a little bit before we got on. I thought all that stuff looked interesting, but the Still TV series kind of jumped out at me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I like the format when it's done right of the serial storytelling versus, like short film kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So that one kind of.
Yeah, Still, that's the one that kind of put me on the map in the Northwest, on the film community. And I did everything by myself. It was all pro bono with all the actors and everything. And I shot it. I did all the lighting. I did everything. I only had one kid was helping me. And he and I were just busting ass trying to get 3 episodes done. And after I got it all edited and everything, and I put it on YouTube and also put it on Facebook and stuff, and it went like gangbusters. And then I started getting all these phone calls from people saying that they really loved it and they wanted to be part of it and they wanted to help me with it and stuff. So I had a crew after the 3rd episode, I had this whole crew that was helping me for free. And I ended up, I met a lot of good friends that ended up helping be my co-producers. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And it's kind of a cross between, I think the reason why it got so popular, it's kind of a cross between, it's kind of zombie-esque, but I'd probably say it's like Body Snatchers meets Twin Peaks.
Okay, that's definitely an interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely. Is that still available on YouTube for people to check out?
It's on Vimeo.
Vimeo. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, you did send me a bunch of Vimeo links. Yeah, I thought that looked cool. I wanted to watch it, but tell us about Whiskers. This thing looks very, very cool.
Yeah, actually, Whiskers was it was a 72-hour film challenge, and so we shot that whole thing. It's a 10-minute film, and we shot it all in 72 hours. When we got it all done in the can and everything, and had it turned into the film challenge. I didn't win anything, but that was a really fun one to make, and I played the rabbit in that. So
yeah. What is the rabbit here? I actually did not notice this Whiskers thing until right now while I'm talking to you and looking at the
it takes place in the near future. Well, it takes place in the near future, and the rabbit, Whiskers, he's an android butler, and he kind of inspired the dog butler that that people have in their house, or those butlers that hold trays. They're just like little statues.
Yeah, like in Rocky 3 or something had one.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and so that kind of inspired. Okay, how about having an android butler like that looks kind of like that? That's why we just found a rubber mask with the the rabbit mask and everything, and we just went with it. So, and basically what it is, Whiskers he's still in beta mode, and so the salesman that sells the android to the couple has them sign a waiver saying, well, he's still in beta mode, but everything's fine and everything. So basically it's trying to sell them too early, I guess you could say. So and he malfunctions, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. with Megan, full tuxedo and stuff. That's a very cool visual.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we had a good time with that film.
completely missed the first, like, everything you said, Drew, just so you know.
Yeah, I just pretended what you said.
No, you got it. Yeah, I can't help it. I don't know. We're just gonna have to shut everything down. We're retiring tonight. But what was that?
Perfect.
Now is that including like writing and casting, or did?
I think he did. I think he retired. Yeah.
Mother.
This is fantastic. I don't know what he was going to ask, unfortunately.
I'll text you.
There he is.
I'll try to be as quick as possible before I disappear again. What was it like to do that whole process in 72 hours? Like, did you already have the idea in place, or did you have to come up with the idea and then
in 72 hours? Yeah, we had to write it, produce it, direct it, and have it in the can in 72 hours. So it was just like we just went gangbusters, and some of it was ad-libbing and everything, but we pretty much had the whole thing in mind. Well, by the time we were shooting it, I think it was like 12 hours we wrote it, and then after that we went right into shooting it.
I disappear again.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing real good over there.
He remembered the. Am I going?
Sorry,
again?
What? Yeah. This is called the Welcome Back, Drew podcast. I can hear you, just so you know. No, I can't. Maybe. No, I think he's gone.
Yes,
hello. No, okay. We're gonna have to edit this
I apologize.
Yeah. So with that, so you did that anyway, we'll continue. So doing that, has that made you want to do more of those kind of short, fast productions, or is that something you don't want to touch again?
I don't want to touch that again. No, I've done several film challenges and stuff. I don't mind acting in them, but I won't. This is too much. And especially I'm older now too, and I just that's for somebody in their 20s to do. I mean, it's hard on the body, it's hard on the mind. So yeah, I'll never do that again.
And having that opinion, have you ever had like an experience or something where you just kind of were like you had to just walk off?
No, but I felt like it. We had in my film Tall Men. We had a local celebrity that was in the film, and he wasn't feeling very well that day and stuff, and I had made a mistake continuity wise, and so I said we had to shoot it again and stuff, and he got really irritable with me and stuff, and I got embarrassed, and I really felt like shutting her down, but you just have to keep moving on, so. Yeah, and it was an actor that it was a performer I really respected too, and so I was just really embarrassed that whole thing, and he didn't mean to, he didn't mean to act like that too. He just wasn't feeling well that day either. But it was just, and other people were getting irritable, on the set and everything, and but we got it done, and you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it if when you watch it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely difficult situations to handle there. But I would want to guess, hopefully at large, that not all sets and filmings are like that. Like, yeah, there's good and bad to every. There's surely there's some that are like fun to do. Like it was a lot of fun instead of
Sure.
like,
Yeah, I think just the most stressful part of filming is when when you're using a location, you're using somebody's home or whatever. Not to sound sexist or anything like that, but wives, they think it's a great idea. Yeah, because I always go to my buddies. I say, hey, can we borrow your house? Like, for example, in Beloved Beast, the house that we shoot in most of the film, it's just that the wife was really getting impatient and irritable. And at first, she was really cool with it, but she didn't realize how extensive filmmaking can be. And I explained it. I always explain it to them before. I say, we're going to be really intrusive. We're going to have to move furniture around. We're going to do this, that. And she goes, oh yeah, that's fine. Day 3, she's done. So you kind of have to walk on eggshells, and yeah, but we got through it. But yeah, it's mostly using other people's property or using somebody's home and stuff. That's when it gets pretty sketchy.
so how does that work? I mean, maybe that's such a general question to ask, but you're using someone else's property, or let's say their house.
Yeah.
Do they continue to live there during the filming, or do they just like
Yeah, they'll
go to
just
a
go on.
hotel?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, they kind of lived in their bedroom, while we, or they would just go out to dinner or something like that, let us have full reign of the house, and they trust us. We didn't do anything terrible and stuff, but we had some physical stuff going on in the film. If you watch the film, there's fight scenes, and so we just had to be really careful and just make sure the wife wasn't around. So I had to rely on my buddy and say, hey, can you take your wife to dinner or something? Or, or they would just hang out up
do
in
we
their
need
bedroom.
Yeah, you see, that's I would try to be as careful as I could, but I'm one of those people that somehow always ends up falling through a wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So,
that didn't happen to us. That's good. But yeah, we had like 14-hour days, sometimes, and that can get
yeah.
pretty grueling for the homeowner. So. But
No,
I always
absolutely.
make sure before I put all the cards on the table. I let them know this is what's probably going to happen. Yeah, and and they're always fine in the beginning, but they just get tired of seeing you.
Yeah, they're fine till they realize that they can't use their. Oh wait, that sounds real sexist. Hold up. I was gonna say they're fine till they can't use the kitchen, and then it clicked in my head.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would be like that too after a few days. I
Yeah.
would want to use my kitchen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably getting canceled now, but I'll be fine. I'll survive the onslaught. So out of all the films, you've been a part of in that, which one do you think really represents you as an artist the best?
I'd probably say my latest one, Beloved Beast. I think that one really, yeah. I had a lot of good reviews on that film. It's a long film, it's almost 3 hours long, and but yeah, I'd say I'm a real storyteller, and so the reviews that I got on it, it was like a lot of people couldn't really figure it out if it was a horror, if it was a drama, if because it was so character driven, it had so many characters in it, and I think that. I think the reason why I like it the most too is because we it was 2017, I think, is when we started shooting it in April, and we spent it was only on the weekends when we shot, and we shot every weekend all the way through November, and so it took us a while to get it done, but we did it. And I had gotten really sick afterwards too, because of all the stress and just the constant shooting and everything. So, but yeah, I think that one is that one represents me, I think.
So really what we're saying is everyone needs to check that one out. If you're going to check any of them out,
Yeah.
that's the one to start with.
Oh, most definitely. Actually, I get a lot of compliments on Tall Men too, which is also customer 152. They changed it was originally, the working title was Customer 152, which I wish we kept the title, but when we got picked up for distribution, distributors found it in our best interest to change it to Tall Men, because that was right during that was 2016, I think, when that came out, and that was during the Slenderman, the Slenderman craze.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
if you look at the DVD cover, my Tall Men look like the Slender Man, and they don't look anything like that you never see their faces in the movie. So they're just like, they lurk in the shadows and stuff, but they're it's all marketing and stuff, but it's pretty disappointing, actually, the marketing campaign that they had for it. And because a lot of people who watched it, they were expecting Slenderman type stuff, and they were just really disappointed, because they're not anything like the Slenderman either. So
Yeah, and I I remember the Slender Man. I think even before that, like whenever it was just like some random meme thing on YouTube,
yeah,
because there was speaking of art and people making their own films, that whole Slenderman thing was just a series that some kids made
yeah.
for for a college project or something. They kept going with it because it was so popular.
What do they call it? A creepy
Oh,
pasta or something like that?
yeah, that's what it started out as. Yeah, creepy pasta. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and Slenderman's he's pretty much it's more supernatural, and my Tall Men, they weren't supernatural, they were real. So, well,
Right. No, yeah, no. Well, real in the
Uh-oh.
You can
what?
hear
Oh, hey guys.
There you are.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
about
Yeah, no,
distributors.
I know. Yeah, yeah. So do you have any stories about distributors specifically?
Yeah, you don't get what you want, that's for sure. When Beloved Beast was picked up by IndieCan Pictures and also Lionsgate. Lionsgate deals with the streaming on Amazon and everything, and we pretty much got everything we wanted on that. We still have not seen any money whatsoever yet. It's still trying to it's still trying to pay back its recoup, and because when it goes into distribution, they take care of the marketing and everything, but there's a cost to that, and so basically we have to pay that back through our residuals that we get. So basically the distributors are making the money, or they're paying back the marketing, with the money that it's making, you know, through the streaming and the DVD sales and everything. But I have not seen anything yet. They said I actually got a sales report just recently, and they said that we're really close. So that's basically it. But I don't expect to see any money whatsoever. So we just need to get a lot of eyes on it to start making money. So.
Well, on that note, have you given any thought to starting your own distribution company?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be. I'm writing my next film. It's called "They Came from Havamal," and it's a like a modern take on Vikings. And we're probably thinking about do our self distribution. So
Yeah,
unless we get a great offer.
Seems to be the way to go today. Like a lot of people are really doing that. You know, crowdfunding and then self-distributing.
Yeah. The crowdfunding too. I don't do any crowdfunding. You know, that's like I tried it one time with Still, and it's just it's a career in itself. You have to, you know, you need to actually have a team dealing with the crowdfunding. You know, and I never had time for it, and it's kind of a tricky thing too, because there's the rewards or the kickbacks, whatever you want to call them. You know, when people give you money, but you're giving something to them in return, which is going to cost money. You know, so it's kind of a catch-22 for me, and I just don't like to deal with that. So I don't like that stuff hanging over my head. So some people are very successful at it, but they have a team helping them. You know, and you know, I do everything on my own, along with my co-producers and stuff. So
Yeah, we talked to. I can't even remember which director we spoke to recently about that, but the amount of time and effort that they put into like making sure that their campaigns went viral was like mind blowing.
yeah,
Like you said, it's like a second full time job that they have to do to manage that. We've tried it, but we're not
it
capable
sucks.
of that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a waste of time for me. And you know the Mahal Empire, the Mahal brothers or whatever. One of them just recently passed away, but probably because of all the crowdfunding. But,
Is that Jinder Mahal?
yes.
Okay.
No, but yeah,
I had to
they
do
were
it.
very well. They were very successful in their campaigns and stuff, and they were just busting out movies left and right. So yeah, so some of them are pretty good at it, but I that's a weakness of mine that I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, I don't even like putting the extra effort into like having a TikTok for our podcast. So
Yeah.
having to do all of that extra stuff, man. But we are at 58 minutes. We generally like to end it before an hour. So the one thing that we like to do is to have our guests have the last few moments to properly promote anything and everything that they do. So just wanted to first thank you for being on the show, and then secondly, I'll give you the floor so that you can remind everybody where they can, find your work and how they can support you.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. It's Jonathan_Holbrook_filmmaker. And you can also find me on Facebook. If you Google search my name, I'm all over Google, so you'll be able to find my social media and stuff there. But there's one thing that actually we're going to start shooting it next Monday, our first day of production. I'm a producer for a TV pilot that we're working on. It's comedy, dark comedy, kind of like the show Tires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of in that realm, or Clerks maybe, and so it's called Slice, and it's basically about this pizza parlor and how they're just trying to stay afloat.
Wait,
Oh, go ahead.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, it's the writer. Yeah, Matthew McIntyre. He's the showrunner. And I'm actually going to have a part in this film too, on this pilot, where I play a very undesirable character, which is going to be pretty cool. You won't even recognize me in it, so it's going to be a lot of makeup. But yeah, so that's something that we're going to hopefully we'll probably get done in about 3 to 4 months, hopefully. So. And then I, like I said, I'm writing my next film called "They Came from Mall Mall," and that's going to be not a horror. It's going to be more like an action thriller drama. So it may end up being a series. I'm not really too sure yet, just about how much I write, because I'm a total storyteller. So
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Great. That sounds awesome. We did it. Thank you for joining us. Anybody listening, definitely look for the links and, check the stuff out. It's all very cool stuff. From what I've seen of it, I'm actually itching to check out the rest of it. And I think you all will as well. Thanks again
Definitely giving these films a watch for sure.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on and talking with us. I had a good time doing
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, when the platform wasn't giving us a hard
surviving
time.
this platform.
You might be the straw that broke the camel's back. This experience tonight might be
you.
What finally has
that makes it sound like it. No. He was the camel, and the straw was the platform. So gotta get it right, so it doesn't sound like he was the one that did it. It was
right.
this junk platform.
I
nobody ever used talk to.
Yeah,
you did.
But
you did.
Yeah, no, the fantastic conversation, regardless. And as always, we have our little outro that we like to play, but you are free to go, no longer held hostage. You by no means have to sit through it, and we can definitely chat again in the future.
Okay, absolutely. I'd love to be on again, maybe on a different platform.
Yeah. yes, for sure by then. Yes.
Well, thanks a bunch, guys.
Right.
I really appreciate it. Filmmakers love talking about themselves, so this is a great platform for that. So.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, thanks, guys.
The preceding program has been brought to you by the Watchers Podcast Network. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help grow our network. Check us out on all social media platforms, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, thanks for your support.